Have you ever noticed that as we grow older, something inside us shifts? Suddenly, the people we once tolerated without a second thought now seem to drain our very soul. When we were young, it was almost like we had an endless reservoir of patience for the complainers, the critics, and the constant naysayers. But with age comes wisdom and a precious realization. Peace of mind is non-negotiable. And if there's one group of people you absolutely must distance yourself from in this chapter of life, it's the chronic complainers, the ones who seem to find a dark cloud even on the brightest day. There's something about aging that sharpens our awareness of the people we let into our lives. Back when we were younger, we had the energy to endure all sorts of personalities. The grumblers, the nitpickers, those who could spot a problem in even the most perfect solution. But as the years pass, we realize something crucial. Nothing is more valuable than our peace of mind. And let me tell you, if there's a group you need to be especially cautious of now, it's the constant complainers. You know exactly the kind of people I'm talking about. The ones who always seem to have a grievance ready on their lips. If the sun is shining, it's too hot. If it's chilly, it's unbearably cold. If they get a meal at a restaurant, it's either too salty, too bland, or definitely not as good as the place they visited last week. It's almost as if they carry a magnifying glass, searching for flaws in everything, and they never, ever put it down. Now, don't get me wrong, we all have rough days. Life isn't a perfect ride, and sometimes venting is simply human. But there's a huge difference between someone occasionally expressing frustration and someone who turns negativity into a permanent lifestyle. Chronic complainers don't just share their feelings. They broadcast a never-ending cloud of gloom wherever they go. And here's the tricky part. If you're not paying close attention, that cloud can silently engulf you. Have you ever sat down for what should have been a simple, light-hearted conversation, only to feel your energy being sucked away minute by minute? They start off grumbling about their health, slide into complaints about the government, then onto their neighbors, their family, sometimes even lamenting the inevitable passage of time. Before you know it, you're not just listening, you're feeling the heavy weight of their discontent pressing down on your chest. Here's the real danger. Negativity is highly contagious. Spend enough time around chronic complainers and you'll start viewing life through their grim, distorted lens. You'll catch yourself focusing on everything that's wrong instead of savoring all that's right. Frustration grows, bitterness creeps in, gratitude, the very thing that makes aging beautiful, begins to slip away. And believe me, gratitude is something you cannot afford to lose as you get older. Because here's the truth, every single day you open your eyes is a blessing. Every sunrise you witness, every breath you take, every laugh you share with someone who genuinely cares. These are priceless gifts. But if you surround yourself with negativity, you'll start overlooking these simple, beautiful moments. Instead of relishing your morning coffee, you'll be brooding over the decline of the world. Instead of smiling at the birds singing outside your window, you'll be lost in nostalgia, wishing for the past. Instead of cherishing the time you have, you'll be wasting it, trapped in someone else's endless loop of misery. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about abandoning friends who are truly going through tough times. There's a meaningful difference between supporting someone in a genuine moment of need and allowing someone's chronic negativity to quietly pull you under. And speaking of protecting your energy, in the next part, we're going to dive even deeper into how choosing the right company can truly transform your days and your entire outlook on life. After everything we just talked about, it's clear. Protecting your peace means being very selective about the company you keep. Because sometimes negativity doesn't just weigh down your spirit, it slowly consumes your entire life. If someone in your circle constantly complains but never seeks solutions, if they reject every positive suggestion, clinging stubbornly to their misery like it's some kind of badge of honor, then a tough choice lies ahead. Do you keep absorbing that endless negativity? Or do you step back and reclaim your peace? The truth is, you owe it to yourself to choose peace. You owe it to your future self to guard your heart and mind from the slow, poisonous drip of constant complaining. In this beautiful and delicate season of life, you deserve joy. You deserve laughter that fills a room. You deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you higher, not those who drag you down into their endless whirlpool of dissatisfaction. So, be mindful, very mindful, of the company you allow into your inner circle. If someone's presence always leaves you feeling drained, heavy, or hopeless, if their words make you focus on everything wrong with life rather than everything that's still so right, then it's time to gently but firmly step away. Because life, especially now, is far too short to waste entangled in someone else's negativity. Instead, fill your days with gratitude. Surround yourself with people who ignite inspiration within you, with moments that remind you you're alive, and with conversations that leave your heart lighter, not heavier. And if you ever find yourself slipping into the old habit of joining in on the complaints, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, do I really want to spend my precious remaining years counting burdens or counting blessings? That simple decision, made again and again, will shape the quality of your life in ways you can hardly imagine. But here's the hard truth, a truth many people don't like to admit. As you grow older, you must also be fiercely protective of who has access to your time, your energy, and yes, your money. Because if you're not careful, you may find yourself surrounded by people who aren't truly there for you. They're only there for what they can take from you. And let me be absolutely clear, financial leeches are some of the most dangerous people to have around in your later years. You've seen them before. Maybe you even recognize a few in your life right now. They arrive with warm smiles and sweet words, painting pictures of love, loyalty, and endless appreciation. But sooner or later, the real reason behind their visit surfaces. They need just a little help, a small loan, a bit of money, just to get by. At first, it feels harmless. You care about them, you want to help, and so you say yes. But here's the problem. Once you open that door, it's almost impossible to close it, because financial leeches don't view your kindness as an act of generosity. They see it as an open invitation. They'll keep coming back, over and over again, armed with new excuses, new emergencies, new reasons why they just need a little more. And the worst part, they won't just ask. They'll make you feel like it's your duty to say yes. They'll tug on your heartstrings with sad stories of struggles and hardships. They'll flood you with compliments, telling you how wise, how kind, how amazing you are. Not because they truly mean it, but because they know exactly how to nudge that door open even wider. And before you realize it, you're no longer just helping someone out. You're funding their lifestyle, covering for their mistakes, and paying the price for their irresponsibility. But the question is, do they ever truly appreciate it? In the last part, we talked about the painful moment, when you realize some people were never truly there for you. They were just there for what you could give them. Now, let's dive a little deeper into this tough but necessary truth. Because here's the thing, people who misuse your generosity never appreciate it the way you hope they will. No, the moment you finally muster the strength to say no, the moment you draw a clear boundary, their attitude shifts. Suddenly, you're no longer the kind, generous soul they once praised. Now, you're the selfish one. Now somehow, they no longer have time for you. And it's in that heartbreaking moment, you realize they were never really there for you at all. Now don't misunderstand me. There's absolutely nothing wrong with helping people who genuinely need it. If someone you love is truly struggling, and you have the ability to lend a hand, then doing so is a beautiful, even noble act. But there's a world of difference between helping someone get back on their feet and letting them pull you down into their cycle of dependence. Especially as you grow older, your financial security becomes more important than ever. You've spent decades working hard, saving, carefully planning wisely. You deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor without feeling pressured to give it all away just to keep certain people in your life. Because here's the raw truth. The people who only stick around for your money were never true friends. They were never real family either. And let me tell you something else. People who misuse your generosity will never, ever stop on their own. They'll keep taking and taking and taking, as long as you keep giving. That means the responsibility falls on your shoulders. It's up to you to recognize when someone is crossing the line. It's up to you to summon the courage to say, enough. And yes, when you do, some people will try to make you feel guilty. They'll whisper that you've changed. They'll accuse you of being cold-hearted or uncaring. But don't fall for it, not even for a second. What they really mean is, I don't like that I can no longer manipulate you. I don't like that you're finally protecting yourself. Because real love doesn't manipulate. Real friendship doesn't come with a price tag. And the people who truly care about you, who love you for who you are, not what you have, will never make you feel like your worth is tied to your wallet. Whether you give them $1 or not a single cent, their love remains the same. So please, be careful, be wise, be willing to help when it's right, when it truly matters. But never, ever let anyone twist your kindness into a weakness. At this beautiful stage of life, you don't need people who see you as a walking bank account. You need people who see you as a whole, valuable human being. And trust me, those are the only people worth keeping around. Speaking of people who drain you, let's talk about one of the hardest dynamics of all, family. Because while family is supposed to be one of life's greatest blessings, those who stand by you through thick and thin, not every family member brings peace into your life. Some, sadly, bring nothing but stress, guilt, and manipulation. And as you grow older, you must be even more careful with these kinds of relationships. Why? Because manipulative relatives know exactly how to play on your emotions. They know you care. They know you have a heart that longs to help, and they use that against you. They'll make you feel like you owe them, like it's your duty to always say yes, no matter the cost. And the moment you dare to push back, dare to set a boundary, they paint you as the villain. They know just what to say to stir up guilt deep inside you. After everything I've done for you, you wouldn't even be here if it weren't for me. It often starts so subtly you hardly notice. You're the only one I can count on. Is this really how you treat family? And if those emotional appeals don't work, they dig deeper, reaching into the past. Suddenly, old favors are dragged back into the conversation, twisted and stretched, to make you feel like you're eternally indebted to them. The conversation shifts so fast that before you even realize it, you're the one apologizing. Apologizing for setting a boundary. Apologizing for wanting peace. Apologizing when, in truth, you did absolutely nothing wrong. Here's the unfiltered truth. Love should never feel like a trap. Family, true family, should not manipulate your love or make you feel obligated to do things that hurt you. Of course, we love our family. Of course, we want to be there when they truly need us. But love is not control. And anyone who makes you feel guilty for protecting your peace is not acting out of love. They are acting out of selfishness. You see, manipulators aren't just seeking help, they're seeking control. Control over your time, your money, your emotional energy, whatever they can draw from you, with little to no regard for how it affects you. They don't ask if you have the strength to help. They don't wonder if you have the resources to spare. They don't care if your cup is running empty. They simply expect you to say yes every single time. Now, you might be thinking, but they're my family. Shouldn't I do everything I can for them? And here's what I want you to know. You can love someone without letting them take advantage of you. You can care deeply without allowing them to manipulate your kindness. True love is offered freely from the heart, not demanded. It's never used as a tool for control. It's never twisted into an obligation that drains your spirit. And remember this: real family, the ones who genuinely love you, would never put you in a position where you have to choose between their happiness and your own well-being. Real family wants what's best for you, not just what's most convenient for them. If someone, no matter how closely related, only shows up when they need something, if they make you feel guilty for standing up for yourself, then they aren't treating you like family. They're treating you like a resource. So what can you do? You set boundaries. You decide what you're willing to give. And you stick to it with grace and firmness. And when the guilt trips come, because they will, you remind yourself, your peace matters too. Because here's another hard truth. Manipulative people don't change just because you keep giving in. They only change when they realize their control no longer works. And yes, that realization might upset them. They might pull away. They might accuse you of being heartless. But so be it. The people who truly love you will respect your boundaries. The ones who only loved what you provided will fade away when the benefits disappear. And that, right there, tells you everything you need to know. There's something about growing older that makes you value peace more fiercely than ever before. You simply don't have the patience anymore for unnecessary drama, for pointless conflicts, or for people who bring nothing but noise and chaos into your life. And speaking of unnecessary chaos, there's one more group you absolutely need to steer clear of: the gossip spreaders. You know exactly the type. The ones who seem to live for other people's business, always with a whisper, always with a rumor, always knowing just a little too much about someone else's marriage, someone else's family troubles, someone else's personal affairs. At first, it might seem harmless. It might even feel a little entertaining, like flipping through a trashy tabloid at the checkout line. But make no mistake, if someone is gossiping to you, they are gossiping about you. The same person who leans in with a juicy secret today will be leaning towards someone else tomorrow, with your name in the story. It usually starts small. You're just sitting there, listening politely, nodding along as someone whispers the latest juicy story. But before you know it, that gossip doesn't just stay with them, it seeps into your own heart. And the worst part? Half the time, the story isn't even true, because gossip has never really been about truth. It's about drama. It's about stirring the pot, keeping things messy, keeping people distracted from their own lives. And here's the real danger. Spending time around gossipers slowly, almost invisibly, changes you. You might tell yourself you're just listening, just being polite. But little by little, the poison spreads. You start seeing people through a lens of suspicion. You assume the worst before you even know the facts. You judge, you doubt, you pull away, all based on whispers that might not have a shred of truth. And before you realize it, you're not just a listener anymore. You've become part of the cycle. You're carrying the same negativity you once thought you were merely hearing. You see, gossip doesn't just hurt the person being talked about. It damages the person who listens. It poisons your relationships. It erodes your trust in others. It distracts you from focusing on your own growth, your own happiness. And the older you get, the clearer it becomes. This is not a road you want to go down, because every minute you spend dissecting someone else's life is a minute you could have spent cherishing your own. Imagine wasting precious, limited time picking apart someone else's choices while your own opportunities for joy quietly slip away. And here's another truth to remember. People who live off gossip are never truly happy. Think about it for a second. Have you ever met a genuinely joyful, peaceful, fulfilled person who spends their days whispering about others? Of course not, because people who are content with their own lives don't need to tear others down to feel better. They don't need drama to feel important. They don't find meaning in meddling with someone else's story. The only ones who live for gossip are those running from their own emptiness, using other people's pain to distract from their own lack of peace. So, what can you do? You distance yourself. You don't sit there nodding and smiling while someone shreds another person's dignity. You don't feed the whispers, the rumors, the sly comments. And if someone approaches you, eager to spill someone else's secrets. You stand tall and say, "I'm not interested. That's not my business. Let's talk about something positive instead." Watch what happens. They'll either quickly change the subject or they'll move on, looking for someone else to drag into their web. Because here's the truth. Your time is far too valuable to waste on pointless drama. Your peace is too precious to be disturbed by chaos that has nothing to do with you. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. People who encourage you, who build you, who make you feel more alive, not less. Because at the end of the day, the conversations you choose to entertain will quietly shape the kind of life you live. And I don't know about you, but personally, I would rather spend my days wrapped in peace, not drowning in empty, meaningless chatter. As you get older, you start to see people for who they really are. When you're young, it's easy to believe that everyone who smiles at you genuinely cares. It's easy to think that every person who shows up in your life has good intentions. But time has a way of revealing the truth. You know exactly the kind of people I'm talking about. When they need money, they call you. When they need advice, they come running. When they need a favor, they act like you are the most important person in their entire world. But the moment the tables turn, when you need something, when you need support, even just a simple check-in, they're nowhere to be found. No calls, no visits, not even a passing thought about how you might be doing. You could be going through one of the hardest, darkest times of your life, and they wouldn't even notice. Why? Because the truth is, they were never truly there for you. They were only there for what you could give them. And here's what makes these people especially dangerous. It's not obvious at first. They know exactly how to make you feel needed. They know how to make you feel important, even indispensable. And when you genuinely care about someone, your heart wants to believe the best. You don't always see the warning signs right away. You tell yourself, maybe they're just busy. Maybe they're going through a rough patch. Maybe next time they'll be there for me. But that next time never seems to come. And slowly, painfully, you realize that this relationship isn't balanced. It's not mutual. It's a one-way street, and you're always the one doing the giving. You're the one showing up. You're the one listening, helping, supporting. And all they do is take what they need. Take your energy, take your kindness, and then move on without a second glance. And heaven forbid you ever need anything in return. Suddenly, they have a list of excuses. Suddenly, they're too busy, overwhelmed, dealing with a lot right now. Let me tell you something. Real relationships don't work that way. Real love, real friendships, real connections are built on mutual care, not one-sided convenience. If someone only values you when they need something, then they don't truly value you at all. They value your usefulness, not your heart. And the sooner you accept that truth, the sooner you can free yourself from people who don't deserve your time, your energy, or your loyalty. Because here's the truth you can't afford to ignore. Life is simply too short to keep people around who don't really care about you. The older you get, the more precious time becomes. You start to realize that your minutes, your hours, your days, these are your most valuable possessions. Why spend them chasing after people who wouldn't even cross the street for you? Why waste your energy on relationships that leave you feeling drained, used, and deeply unappreciated? You deserve better than that. You always have. And I know, walking away isn't easy. Some of these people might be family. Some might be friends you've known for decades. But relationships should never be built on guilt or obligation. They should be grounded in love, respect, and genuine connection. And if someone only shows up when they need something, the painful truth is, they were never really there for you in the first place. So, here's what you do. You stop making yourself endlessly available to people who are never available to you. You stop answering every call from someone who only contacts you with their hand out. You stop bending over backward for people who wouldn't even lift a finger for you. Instead, you start focusing on the ones who truly care. The ones who call just to hear your voice. the ones who check in without needing a reason, the ones who love you for who you are, not for what you can offer them. Because at the end of the day, life is far too precious to waste on people who only see you as a tool, a wallet, or a stepping stone. One of the hardest parts about getting older isn't the wrinkles you see in the mirror. It's not the occasional aches or the feeling that you're slowing down a little. No, the real sting comes from something much deeper. The way some people start treating you differently. People who once valued your words, your experience, your wisdom, suddenly they overlook you. It's as if, with age, you've somehow become invisible. As if the years you've lived and all the lessons you've earned no longer hold weight in their eyes. These are the ageist dismissers, and let me tell you, they are exactly the kind of people you need to keep far away from your life. You see, the world has a very strange way of measuring value. When you're young, people hang on to your every word. They seek your opinion. They listen intently. They treat your presence with respect. But as the years roll by, you start to notice a shift. You could be in the middle of a thoughtful conversation, and suddenly, someone cuts you off, like your voice doesn't matter. You could walk into a room, and instead of smiles and greetings, you get nothing. A glance right past you, as if you were invisible. And if you're not careful, if you're not fiercely protective of your own worth, you might start believing them. Because that's the real danger of being around people who dismiss you. They chip away at your confidence. They make you question your value. They plant tiny seeds of doubt, whispering that your time has passed, that you should step aside and fade quietly into the background. But hear me, and hear me well. Your life still holds value. Your voice still matters. Your wisdom is still needed, and the moment you forget, that is the moment you allow the wrong people to define who you are. You see, aging isn't a burden, it's a badge of honor. It means you've lived, it means you've seen things, learned things, survived storms that others can't even imagine. It means you carry a kind of knowledge that no classroom, no book, no quick online search can ever teach. Anyone who dismisses that, anyone who overlooks the treasure you carry inside, doesn't truly understand what wisdom is. Think about it. Where would the world be without the lessons passed down from those who lived before us? Every breakthrough, every bit of progress, every great story of success, it all stands on the shoulders of those who had the courage, the resilience, and the experience to light the way. And yet today, we live in a time where youth is glorified and age is often ignored, where experience is overshadowed by what's trendy, where, if you're not up to date with the latest fads, some assume you have nothing left to offer. But let me remind you of something powerful. True wisdom isn't found in what's trending. It's found in what endures. And if there's one thing you've gained with every passing year, it's the ability to see clearly what truly matters. You've witnessed the rise and fall of ideas, seen fads come and go like passing storms. You've learned the difference between what's fleeting and what's eternal. That kind of wisdom. The world needs it now more than ever. So don't waste another minute around people who make you feel small. Don't lower your voice for those who refuse to listen. If someone dismisses you, if someone treats you like you're irrelevant, walk away. Let them go, because the right people, the ones who see your worth, will never make you question it. The right people will respect your experiences. They will seek your advice. They will value your presence deeply, sincerely, wholeheartedly. And those are the people who deserve your time, your energy, and your heart. Because you, my friend, still have life to live. You still have wisdom to share. You still have a light to shine. And speaking of shining, in the next part, we'll talk about how to protect that inner light and how to keep it burning brightly, no matter who tries to dim it. As long as you are breathing, as long as your heart is beating, your presence matters. Never, ever let anyone make you feel otherwise. Not society, not careless strangers, not even people you once trusted, because life is far too short, too precious, to waste on the wrong people. As we grow older, something within us begins to shift. We realize that peace, respect, and genuine love are infinitely more valuable than the shallow approval of those who drain our spirit. We come to understand deep in our bones that protecting our time, our heart, and our energy isn't selfish. It's essential. We must guard ourselves against the financial leeches, the ones who see us as an open wallet rather than a human being. We must step back from the manipulators, the ones who twist our kindness into obligation. We must close our ears to the gossip spreaders, the ones who trade in secrets and sow distrust. And yes, we must walk away from those who only show up when they need something, but vanish when we are the ones who need a hand. We must put distance between ourselves and those who dismiss us, who make us feel small, invisible, or irrelevant, simply because time has added more years and more wisdom to our lives. Because here's the truth you must hold on to. We are still here. We still matter. We still have light to shine, stories to tell, wisdom to share, and love to give. And we deserve, without apology, to be surrounded by people who uplift us, not those who diminish us. So choose wisely. Be deliberate about who you allow into your sacred space. Because the right people, the ones who see you, hear you, respect you, will bring joy, purpose, and meaning into your days. And at this beautiful, irreplaceable stage of life, what could possibly be more important than that?